conversion equipment is needed to start your shipping container conversion business? I was asked that. So I'm going to give you just a few small things. And I had a few people ask me, said, man, I see you switched it up. You took your welding skid off. What are you doing? Well, I'm focusing more now on the conversions. So I'm actually building a conversion kit. This is actually my generator, the new one that I bought under a tarp. It is actually a 95 to 7500 consistent and to 9500 watts. And I can be able to do 220 welding with this machine, no problem. I got multiple connection in so that I can plug my MIG welder or stick welder in and plug it also into the container conversion, which most of them have 50 amps, a 50 amp plug anyway. It'll run off 30 with a 50 amp plug. So that's, you know, you can still do it with 3 wires. But the basic thing you need for your shipping container conversion is a good solid generator. So I would get a generator that I say at least run 5,000 consistent watts. So that's on the low end, but I wouldn't get nothing smaller than that because it's going to stop, and you're going to have to constantly reset your generator. So me personally, I got a 6,500 consistent watt, and it don't never shut down. So that's just a plus after me doing it, because I had bought a generator before and I had that issue with my welder. If you have a welder on the back of your truck, then you can use it, no problem. But I'm just giving you a basic kit. If you don't have a welder and you want to start into this business, you can get a generator. And I would say if you're going to get one welding machine, if you're going to get one and not 2, I would say have 2. You know, 2 small ones, or 1 can get you by. And if you're going to have 1, you just want to have a flux core. So if you have 1, you want to make sure you have your good flux core, and you want to make sure that your flux core is actually, this is a 180. So 180, you can kill several birds with one stone. 140, you can actually do it because it can weld up to 5/16. You just have to bevel things. You can actually get away with a 140. But if you have at least a 180, you can be able to do a lot. As far as the thickness of the metal, you can do a lot. So you have less limitations if you have a 180 machine. So you're looking at a generator 180 machine. Normally you can find these used, looking at around $500 to $600 probably used, and get you a new or used generator. You're looking at anywhere from probably, I say a good one for $350 to $600 on that price, used one anyway. That most definitely. And have some power tools. And when it comes to your cutting equipment, you can have a small torch. You don't have to have a big one. Literally, you can get a small setup. You can have a big one, and a small one can do everything too. So when you're cutting it in half, or you're doing your doors, I recommend to use a grinder. If you do it right, I'm gonna show a couple of videos on how you can do it and allow the grinder to just work itself. I would say you got a big grinder. When I'm doing the big cutouts, I use a big grinder. It just cut fast. It got more RPMs. When I'm doing small cutouts, I use my small grinder. This is actually a 4.5 grinder, and then I have a big one down here too. So I like to keep power tools because they're to work with. And your welding hood, you got to get you a good welding hood, and your welding hood is flexible. I would say get you something that's auto darkened because it's just easier to work with, and you can be able to grind with it, use it as a face shield. You can be able to do multiple things with it. So that's what I would get on that aspect. So on a few other things I would say grab, you want to have some clamps. You want to have some most definitely some C clamps, a good hammer. You want to have you a good chain fall, because that right there most definitely helps you with your install. So it's just some of the basic tools. But as far as the big equipment, you can get you one good size job box or Joe box or whatever. This is my actually my Joe box, a job box that I turned into a fab box, that I can actually flip this up and have a table on it, and I can do small fabrication in the field. I got wheels that goes on this too, where I can be able to roll it. I can sit the welder on that side over there, I got a frame, and this side over here is for the chop saw. So if I'm cutting pieces, I can actually put the chop saw there, run pieces and cut, have the welder there to tack stuff on this table here if I need it. So this is like a fab box that I made. I'm not saying you have to do anything like that. I just created this to make it easier for me, you know, when I'm doing it, because it just makes it easier when you got everything on one unit. You see what I'm saying? So you don't need a lot, but I would say get you a good job box, good generator, at least a 140 welder to a 180 welder. Flux core is one of the best. If you get two of them, I get the one that you can do flux and stick, which I'm about to get that one. That's my next upgrade, is the one that do flux and stick, that I can have in the field. Because, you know, like I say, with the shipping container conversions, stick welding flux core is one of the best things. You don't have to use gas doing these at all, because we still use silicone. You can still weld both ends, but it's a lot of welding that you don't have to do, a lot of unnecessary things you don't have to, so you don't have to do any overkill, you know what I mean? But I will most definitely keep some cutoff wheels. I always take my guard off, so I use a good safety precautions, because I always use the bigger wheel, because you can cut more and it lasts longer. So I would say get the 6 or 7 inch blades on yours. Even if you're getting the big grinder, put the big blades on it, and it just makes it last longer, you know what I mean? So you probably have to build your couple custom ends. I built a couple custom ends. I got a few custom ends for this. And this is actually a 220 one that I can be able to plug up my stick welder and flux core welder, and I can plug this into my container conversion to power it up. So it's multi-purpose. So like I say, you can get you some bottles, get the stuff you need, just small things, you know, the small stuff you need. I love DeWalt tools, so to each his own as far as they tool setup, but you most definitely want to get a few things. Please get you one of these. This here's gonna say, have you everything you need. Like those as a carpenter, you know, and they understand what, you know, a chalk box is really important for, but you want to have one because it's just easier when you pop in your line and cutting your container to keep your, you know, to keep a good distance and a clean cut. So I just wanted to give you a few things because I was asked about it. What do I need to get started? What can I use on a small scale to actually build my independence? And you can literally start your shipping container conversion business with a generator, a 140 welder or a 180 welder, and a good job box and some basic tools and a small cutting torch. You don't have to get the big one to do it. You can do the small one, and you doing certain ones you can have a bigger torch. I'm not saying that don't have one, because I have a bigger torch set up too. I don't have the bigger bottles at the moment, but I can run them. I still got both of my gauges and 2 type of torches, so I'm fully set up. So but I use the small one more than I use the big one, so that's why I was like, you know what, that full kit, I can kill several birds with one stone, even doing small service calls. So you can be able to put in doors, roll up doors, do frames, cut it in half, do your little installs for your window fabrications, you know, different type of frames, different type of handrails, staircases, whatever. You can do all of this with this basic setup. So, you know, you don't have to go all the way out, but you can get started. You know, some of us already got the tools as far as, you know, being tradesmen, but I would say just getting started on a used scale. This is not new. I'm gonna give you used numbers. Getting started in the shipping container conversions, you could actually jump into it comfortably. Probably, I'm gonna say, getting everything you need, just to be realistic, I'm gonna say under $2,000. Under $2,000 with all of your tools, and if you're getting everything used, you probably get a few things new, but you know. So you're looking at around $1,000 to $2,000 to really kickstart. Depends on where you at and how you get your deals, because everybody got different deals, different in different places. So I just wanted to give you a few updates on that. Had a few people ask me, and today I had a few moments to actually spend some time, and it's pretty nice outside today, and I can't really do a whole lot at the moment right now, so I'm kind of got to sit on my hands. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go and do this video for y'all. So all you need is a generator, at least a consistent 5,000 watt. I would say a 6,500 watt to be best, but at least a 5,000 watt generator, a good job box to hold all of your equipment, 2 grinders, a big grinder, a small grinder, most definitely a 180 machine. I mean, a 180 or 140 machine. 140 can do, but I most definitely say 180. You can get away with just using the flux alone. You don't have to use stick at all, but certain things you might want to. I would say personally do everything with flux core. I think it's great, fast, it's more economical. You can do a whole lot without throwing away rods. It's less cleanup. It's just cleaner to me personally. So that's what you can do, man. Get started. Just want to give y'all some updates. Keep getting your hog on. Be blessed. Black Feniks. I'm out.